now. And right now, I'm with another special dude, man. And he run through my blood, man. This is my cousin, man, my biological cousin, man. He's a few years older than me, man. This is Cuzzo. You know what I mean? I'm introducing right now on the Settled On podcast, man. Cry Heights then and now, man. Yo, Cuzzo,
Yo,
what's up, Cuzzo?
I'm here, man.
Yo, that's Cuzzo, man, right now on the live. And we gonna get straight to it, man. Alright? Because that's what we do. Yo, Cuzzo,
Mm-hmm.
how you feeling, my brother?
I'm alive.
Alright, my brother. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Yo, cuz, man, we want to talk about Crown Heights, right?
Yeah,
My podcast is living now, right?
right.
Uh, I appreciate you, cuz. Uh, you're always there. You're always there, no matter what. You know, it goes more deeper than this. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm I'm glad to have you for the first time on the podcast to let the people know who you are. All right, and I appreciate
All
you,
right.
my brother. You know what I mean? You came
Yeah.
into this country. For y'all that don't know, I'm Shadow Dawn. Uh, my parents are Guyanese. All right, they're not from New York. All right, they're not from the United States. All right, when they came, they had me. All right, they had me here. All right, but anyway, yo, Cuzzo,
Yo.
let's talk about how it was when you first got here, man. How it was? You knew nothing about America. You knew nothing, man. You just heard things. You came. How old were you when you came here, man? Let's talk about that.
I was 8 years old.
You was 8 years old, right,
Uh-huh.
cuz?
Yep.
So when you came at 8 years old, I was approximately what, 5, 4,
Yep. You were 5. Yeah, about 5 or 4. Yeah.
right?
All right.
I was just getting into I would say that'd be yeah around kindergarten. How was,
Mm-hmm.
cuz? How was? Let the world
It
know
was.
how was adapting to a whole new thing. Coming into Crown Heights, let them know how Crown Heights was. You coming in at that
Mhm.
time, how it was.
And it was a beautiful thing, man. It was, coming from where I came from and the situations where I was under. I didn't think my parents were coming back to get us. You know what I mean? At one point, 'cause we were under a lot of stress as kids. Because we had an abusive grandma. She wasn't, not biological, but she was someone that took care of us, and she wasn't loving and supporting like that. She was very aggressive
Hmm.
and very abusive. We had to work hard as children. We didn't have like a regular child, child situation. We had a farm, so we had to do like a lot of farm work and things like that. We had to, put in our share. At 4 years old to 8, I had to, man up, like they say here. You know what I'm saying? I had to man up, and you have to get up 4 o'clock in the morning, do your runs, take care of your chickens, take care of your, get your water, water your plants. We were like little men. We had to do things to survive.
You was
And we
already
didn't
doing
cry about it,
yeah,
huh?
yeah. Not to cut you off, but you was already doing manly work at a young age.
Yeah, yeah,
Basically, basically,
basically,
is that what you trying to say?
yeah. You know,
Okay, go ahead, continue.
and we didn't have you know, that love and support. But when we came here, man, it was a total different situation. You know what I mean? Mom and dad were, very loving. Everybody around us. We lived there with our grandmother. We lived there. My dad's mom lived in the house with us. his sisters, Auntie Lynette, your mom,
right?
um, my Aunt Claire. I love my Aunt Claire. You know what I mean? We all, your sisters, your brothers, your brother, your sisters, my brothers, my sisters. Man, we slept in this practically the same bed, the same room.
Right.
It was you guys accepted us like we were brothers and sisters. We lived as one.
Yo, cuz.
We had our little, what I mean, we had our, our good
Right.
times, man. And,
Yo, cuz.
all I can remember is just, huh?
Yeah. I remember at
I
that
can,
age, because at that age, it ain't much so much I can remember. Right?
yeah,
But I
right,
remember when y'all came and y'all was living with us. We all lived in the
yeah,
same house. Right?
yeah,
This is the same
uh-huh,
house that I showed
mm-hmm,
at the beginning of my podcast.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, that same house, yeah, 1632 cow, yeah,
That's right. Right? But anyway,
yeah,
this is the same thing I was trying to explain. All right? How monumental this was. Go ahead, cuz, but go ahead, finish talking. So when you came, how it
yeah,
was?
so different,
You went into
different,
you went into the American system, all right? All
right,
right. Uh, who was president at that time when you came in? Was it
a Ford, it was Ford,
okay?
uh,
Right,
uh,
right,
uh,
okay.
right,
So you in the system, right?
mm-hmm,
Now you in the public school system. What it
right,
was? How was
mm-hmm.
transforming? How was transforming into that? How was?
Uh, it was kind of difficult, but not, more for me the educational part. You know what I mean? The physical part, I mean, dealing with dudes, dealing with kind of, characters. I had a couple of fights in the classroom. I went to school. I think her name was Miss Davis. That was one of the teachers I ran into. She
Okay,
was the third grade teacher,
okay,
and she used to let us, people used to come at me. And I remember once there was a altercation with one cat, and
right.
me and him got into it, and I had to, defend myself. You know what I mean? I didn't do it out of, just out of protection.
How were you
And we
treated?
got into,
How did you feel? How did the American people and the American system treated you? How did you feel? Did you feel welcome? Did you feel did you feel missing? Did you feel explain that? Let's explain how that time was back then and now, y'all. Go ahead.
yeah. Well, I didn't feel like, nobody was treating me funny. Like for, um, no one made fun of me. Like they didn't call me no names, nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the thing was, it seemed like it wasn't a thing like that. It was a thing like, yo, if you didn't have on like, some good ass sneakers, you know what I mean? Like we had rejects, that shit was,
That
you know
was
what
a
I mean?
fact. That was a fact.
That was,
The footwear had to be something. You had to have some
yeah,
nice.
yeah. You
Yeah.
had to have some clothes, man. You gotta have,
I
you had to
remember
have
the.
something.
That's right. Go ahead, cuz. Finish me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I remember, and not having like, yo, I wanted some gabardine so bad, man. I don't know why. Gabardines was the shit. And I had one of these gabardine, the suit, this suit. And I remember getting this gabardine suit. Like, I wanted, listen, we used to be trying to, talk to the girls or whatever. You know what I mean? I like this girl.
Right.
And, she would not pay me any mind, man. I
Mm-hmm.
said, God damn, what's going on? So anyway, one day my mom bought me a gabardine suit. I put that gabardine suit on, went to school. I went in front of her class, showed my face and all of that. Rocked in my gabardine suit.
Right.
Next thing you know, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. I said, yo, the freaking clothes.
Yo,
you know,
they don't understand. Like
uh,
at that time, that was a product of the environment. You know what I mean? That's how it was. But hey, cuz,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
let's talk about that was mainly in the '70s, right? Yeah, because it
yeah,
came in the
yeah.
'70s. How was going into the '80s, cuz.
Uh, it's,
Let's talk about
uh,
that. Let's talk about
well,
that.
guess
How it
I was
was.
getting old. We was getting older. Getting older. I think I was like around. 13, something like that.
Right.
I already moved. I think I moved away in the 80s, and I moved out to Coney Island, like Coney Island area, Ocean Parkway, like East Flatbush over there.
Right.
Yeah,
So now
and
you got into an area over there now, which is not too far from Car Heights. After you left,
no,
after
wasn't
you
that
left
far.
the main place. All right, which was Carlson. But anyway, go ahead, cuz.
Well, over there it was a little different, because I had more Caucasians, people,
Right.
Miles bought a house over there,
Right.
and so it was a different adaptation. There was more, it was more, of a, calling names and people not liking you because of your color, your skin color, and stuff like that. But we had to put a stop to that. Me and my brothers and all that. We wasn't exposed to that. That type of environment where people treated people indifferently. My mom's always told us, yo, it's not about your skin, it's your character. You know what I mean? And that's what we upheld. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anybody that confronted us otherwise and looked at us any other way than being human beings, we had to put a stop to that. You know what I
Right.
mean? First time I moved on that block, there was a situation where this kid, he was a Jewish kid, right?
Right.
He was a nice kid. He was my first friend. And it was cool. Harmless. Fun like a kid. He was innocent. He was an innocent kid. Wanted to have enjoy life. So anyway, the other kids used to come around, and it was there were like a couple of Italians, couple of Irish kids, and so they every time they see him, they want to chase him and beat him up.
Right.
It's like, yo, what you doing? Why are you chasing him for? He didn't do nothing to you. So I just, at one time they all five of them came up to me, and at that time, I remember Robert used to teach us kung fu down in the basement. So I had
Right.
my kung fu skills. You know what I mean? Remember Robert?
Right.
And so
Right.
when
Right.
they
Right.
attacked, yeah, I had to, I put them in their place. You know what I mean? And eventually, all four of them, they jumped on
Right.
top of me, five, and then they got me, held me down. But after that, they realized, yo, this is not someone to be, playing those
Right.
stupid games with. So anyway, that was
Right.
that situation. We all became friends after that, and I learned, how to,
Right.
learn something about
Right.
their culture through those experiences. Just,
Right. Right.
okay? And I got into football, like football, you know what I mean? And that's how
Right.
I got into like playing ball.
Right. Right.
It was big on football, and I like, for some reason I took to that, you
Right.
know, and I used that, that as a stepping stool, to
Right.
use my talent, you know,
Right.
to
Right.
make, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So
That's right. But yo, cuz.
yeah,
Yeah, man. So anyway, we gonna go into, even though you went over to where you went, you still was coming
yeah,
back and forth in the cries.
yeah, yeah, man.
How was?
First love,
How was?
that's the base, that was the base, that was the love, that was the the strength, Our family gathered there every Christmas, every every holiday, basically, or we were there celebrating something, some birthday, even
Right.
we were supportive of each other. We loved each other. You know what I mean? You know, we all had fond memories there.
Right.
And all our family, my brothers. We would stop whatever we were doing, man, and go there. Any
Right.
function we was there.
Right.
You know, and then I got to as I got older, I got my family, whatever. But I still, had to come and check on Cuz, because you inspired me. You know what I mean? You gave me inspiration. You know,
Right.
you gave me a lot of knowledge. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So we kicked it back and forth. We always, you always stress family. You always stress family. You said, yo, it's blood is thicker than water. And I always remember what you said, and you proved that, so many times, and
Right.
yeah, man.
All right, man. Very well spoken though, cuz man. You know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
man.
Yeah, we went through a lot, man. We lost a lot of people in our family,
Right.
Um, you know,
Right.
people that meant a lot to us,
Right.
and we went through hell, hell, man. And we went, you know what I mean?
That's right.
We're still here. We're not bitter towards the world.
Right.
Bitter, and we try to engage people as much as we can, show, you know,
Right.
because, it takes more than, it takes a village, man, So
Right.
I guess we try to contribute to that,
Right.
in some form or fashion,
Right.
Yeah, man. But it was all,
Right.
it was all a great ride, you know what I mean? I wouldn't change a thing, man,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Yo, but cuz,
Yeah.
we gonna do it next part, man. I just want to speak to you briefly. We gonna continue where we left off at. Is there anything you would like to
Yeah.
say before we tap out of here?
Um, I want to, thank you for letting me, be a part of your podcast.
Uh-huh.
Shout out Don,
Right.
love and respect. I hope that, everything that you envision, come to fruition,
Right.
and everybody, all the ancestors,
Right.
shining down on you, brother. And,
Yeah.
big ups, man, big ups, big ups.
I appreciate you, man. All right, man.
Yeah.
All right, cuz, man. We tapping out of here, man. Shadow Down Podcast, Carhan's in and now. Yo,
Yeah.
salute, my bro.
Salute, salute.
All right, then and now. Uh-huh, uh-huh.